Oh, hi everybody. It's your man behind the scenes, DY. I'm filling in for Auntie Paige tonight. We're gonna have a really good show. Still gonna do our thing, but let me get you thinking about something. How about those blended families? We're gonna talk about it. Come on, join us.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey everybody.
Hi.
Yes, my name is DY. I am the co-executive producer of this wonderful show that we call We Are Your Aunties, the show where you can talk about and tell us anything, but there's a way to say everything.
That's right. That's right.
I'm filling in for Auntie Paige tonight. We're going to go ahead and give her a shout out. Hi, Paige. We miss you.
Hey, Arlene, how you doing?
Mwah.
That was nice.
Feel better.
Yeah, feel better. Yes, yes. So I'm sitting in filling in for her, and I also got Auntie Genoa, and I got Auntie Rose. Go ahead and say hi to everybody.
Hey, I am so excited you guys have joined us. It is going to be a fabulous show, and I can't wait until we dig deep.
Yes.
As you can see, it's about to be lit.
Oh, yes, it is. So one of the things we're going to talk about is we're going to bring up this really, really interesting topic. Blended families. Yeah. How do they occur? All kinds of ways they do. Basically, if you don't know what a blended family is, it's when two people get together and they have a relationship, but they each have children from past relationships. They come together and make a family. Think Brady Bunch. Everybody knows about that show. So the thing about it is, they can be wonderful. They can be great. They can also have a little bit of turmoil going on. So let's go ahead and jump into that. It's been my experience. I've seen blended families happen before. I'm pretty sure all you guys have. And
Yes,
yeah. And for the most part, I never really see the turmoil, but you also got to remember that they only show us what's on the surface. We only see what's on the surface. We never know what's going on behind closed doors. And it takes a lot to keep blended families together. I'm pretty sure it takes a lot to keep any family together.
That's true.
But keeping together a family, especially when you have children, and especially when, those children, they're used to a certain type of dynamic, and now you introduce another family, you now introduce a new parental figure, and now you introduce step siblings into this. Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get, to keep that down.
It's a lot in a regular family.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And so what do you think about that, Auntie Genoa? How do you think blended families work out in your aspect?
Well, I've seen both sides. And hey, Arlene, and the thing with blended families, the ones that I've seen the ones like going to church, and maybe there's a widower that had children that marries one of the sisters in the church, and you see the church family. So and when you see the church family, you hear all the good stuff. Oh, the Lord's so good and everything, and then a little while later, and you don't see them together. You be like, what happened? What happened? because you didn't see any type of turmoil, and then all of a sudden y'all all and nobody.
Right. Yeah, so it's just like, a lot of different things can happen.
Yeah, that's true.
A
That's
lot of
true.
things can happen, and also you never know how much they how much they even thought about this. A lot of times, they just get together, and sometimes it's just it's something instant. Like, I was single like yesterday, but today I'm interested in someone, and I have kids. I have to introduce my kids. Yeah, think about that movie Step Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Now that's some crazy blended family.
That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah, that's taking it. That's taking it like definitely in a different way. And also, look what we have right here. I believe this is from Auntie Paige. She says there are other ways that blended families form. Sometimes someone dies, or there is an adoption or a foster family situation.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely true. Yeah.
Lady, you're in my segment. Stop it.
Oh my God. Yes. Come on in.
Yes.
Yes, there are those situations too. Sometimes you never know. There's an instance where, you have that family member that passed away, and now you have this child. You just can't throw them out into the world to be alone. No, they need family. They need someone close to them, and it always isn't family. Sometimes it's a close friend. Your close friend, that you've known forever, and they always said that if anything happens, I'm there for you to take care of the kids.
That's those godparents.
Yes, and sometimes they have to blend them right in, and sometimes it's just one. But hey, what about the ones that have 2 and 3 kids?
Yes.
Or sometimes, or even more.
Right. When you said blend them right in, I was thinking about making a cake and you stirring eggs and stuff in the flour.
Yes. And you know what? That's a great analogy too, because a blended family does have several different ingredients. You got to make sure that those ingredients work together.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't put cumin and coriander into a cake. Nobody's going to eat that.
It don't sound good to me.
There's a lot of different movies. I'm thinking of the one with Drew Barrymore. It was a scenario where there was a blended family. But when I was talking to people about this and just trying to get different perspectives, a lot of people said, "Oh, you mean when a white person marries a black person, or and then they bring their families." And you know what? I remember that being like an old term. It's like that's true because it was an old term. And now when you call it blended families, you got that in the mix of it. But people genuinely mean that the blended family is just like you were saying, DY. You got the kids from one side, and then the other kid from the other side, and people, they just think, I love my kids. I know this person, I love them, and they're gonna get along with my kids. I don't think people take it in consideration, especially the kids when they're small. They just like, oh, they're gonna love my kids, and and they're not gonna, because I love them, and so when they get together, and then there's problems, and then now it's affecting the whole family.
Correct.
So
right.
It is.
That's absolutely right.
Oh, absolutely. Because kids have families too.
To me, it's just like any other family. You just have to, family. You don't choose to be in families. I mean, you know what I mean. You don't. This is your family you're born into, or this is a family that you're going to be in, whether it's adoption or foster, or people get together, or people just take in someone, and you don't mean to say, okay, I'll choose them, or it's the surroundings of whatever is going on that happens. You know, a situation where maybe there's a young girl. Because I have a friend that she brought in a young girl into her family, and she has a daughter, and they're like the same age. But this young girl was like doing a lot, where they had to say, "Whoa," you know. So, you know, it just depends. You know, she didn't choose that situation; they just wanted to help. So, you know, she told me there was a lot to think about, because by them both being in the same age group, 16, her daughter would come home right after whatever the event after school. The other one would stay out. And she was like, this is not going to work.
They got to be on the same page. That ain't going to work.
But then, you know, you bring different backgrounds. You bring different upbringings. You bring different, I want to say culturals. You bring it, and you just automatically expect people to want your thing, or you know, love what's going on.
Yes, you could definitely have different cultures. I mean, because, you know, there's no such thing as just one set Black culture. There are a lot of things that we do similar, but there are also a lot of things that we do differently, and that all coincides with how these people think, and also how the kids think.
Right.
Because, you know, and just like what Auntie Paige just came in and said is yes, because when you bring two families together, you're also bringing two whole cultures and sets of rules together. Oh, yes, that is true. Now, when we talk about the rules, man, everybody don't play by the same rules. That's something that you learn throughout your entire life, that hey, everybody don't play by the same rules. This also comes with parenting. It comes with like rules when it comes to your family, rules when it comes to raising children. Because you know, subject A could have like a really structured, really, you know, strict, like just military type, like discipline. Everyone has to do a certain thing a certain way. And then subject B, you know, they just have that what you call that
permissive?
The gentle parenting.
Yeah.
Permissive.
The gentle parenting, but you know, I kind of call it you know, when the child is the parent and the parent has to have
oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's all the way upside. That's all the way upside down. Oh no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so nobody.
You know, I've been in different scenarios. What you would say scenarios, DY. You know, when I was a kid, you know, we were part of an organization where they would come into the hood, and you know, they would, you know, it was mainly, you know, white people, different backgrounds, and then they would just, you know, pick up a kid and take us to lunch or intimate, you know, mix them with their family. So I got a chance to, you know, see what they ate and what they did, and I just noticed that the different things that the kids would do, I was like blown away. You know, they would talk to them any kind of way, and you know, and and I was like, what? And it was like, don't do that at the table, blah, blah, blah. And had I said what they said in my household, you know, it would have been a different world.
Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that last week? Not a democracy.
Exactly.
You do what I told you.
Now this is the thing. Now what happens when you take those two formulas and you press them together to make a blended family?
Yes.
Now you have two sets of rules, and now it's like who sets the rules? Whose rules are you going to roll with?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whose rules are you going to roll? Are you going to just take a few from this side and then a few from this side? You know, because it's like, you know, who's going to be the parental figure? Who's going to be the
And no one wants to be that wicked witch. No one. They don't want to be that tyrant or that wicked witch. They don't want to do it. So some people just let their kids do, you know, just to try to keep the peace. But that's not helping if you don't have the structure.
Yes. Exactly. Oh, we see you got a comment from Darren. So blessed, DY. Nice to meet you too, Darren. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us. Absolutely. But yes, but the thing is, it's not always all bad.
No.
It
No.
is, there are statistics on it. I say about 15% of America's children currently are the subject of being in a blended family.
I think
Some
the
are
number's
good.
higher, DY. It's just unreported.
You know what?
Okay.
You just might be right. But, but the thing is, it's not always bad. There's always a lot of good. I mean, there's some good. I think that good situations tend to outweigh bad situations, but we should always be aware of the bad ones, but embrace the good ones.
Yeah.
And on that
yeah.
note, hey Genoa, what about some of the good ones? You want to tell us about them?
Oh yeah, I sure can. Now I came
yeah.
up with a I was looking at the definitions for blended families, but the one that I settled on, it says a blended family, also called step, reconstituted or complex family, is a family unit where one or both parents have children from previous relationships that have combined to form a new family.
Well, hold on a second. You know what? Let's go ahead and talk about that in this subject matter and in this new segment that we have, Genoa's Gems. Let's go ahead and go straight into that.
Hey everybody. As we're talking about blended families, I went and found some pictures of some blended families. The first family I was looking at was Diana Ross, and she has brothers and sisters from another mister from 3 different relationships. And up to which she was married, we have the Browns that have a child each and then one together, and we have the Johnson family, and they have somebody had a child and then they had 2 together. Blended families, and as you can see, the children are with the exception of Diana Ross's family, the children are young, and so as the parent, the children being young like that, they do have it's easier for them to be able to grow together. Now there are other types of families like the cohabitating partners, and then those that's formed through adoption. Now, although blended families do not always include children, and the common question asked by people is who comes first in a blended family? The key is moving yours, mine, and ours, meaning children, literally and figuratively in the blended family, and making the relationship of the couple, the parents, the first priority in the blended step family. Now, the children will try to divide and conquer to get their way. Make no mistake about it. Okay, and according to it's a family a website that I was on, and they said it usually takes about 2 years for a blended family to adjust and get used to the new family dynamics. And according to Raising Children Network, and it's an Australian parenting website where the families come together, it says allow some settling in time before setting the new rules / boundaries. They had some great tips for making rules to help a blended family with children thrive and how to use the rules effectively. DY, could you put that slide back up? These were kind of like the basic ones. They said there should be minimal contact between ex-spouses, and I'll say partners. Number 2 is contact between the ex-spouses happens only at specified times, because sometimes one of them try to sneak back in there, There should be little or no contact between the exes and the new step parent, because sometimes when you're settling in, that child's like, oh, mama's new husband, or my daddy's new wife, and then the other spouse, because they just all of a sudden they feel like they invite themselves into the situation, and that's not good. And both couples must be vigilant not to put the child or the children in the middle. That's of utmost importance. When I was growing up, a child was to stay in a child's place. That way they don't get in trouble trying to do adult things. Now, of course, it's not etched in stone, and contact is necessary between the parents who co-parent with their exes. Now, unfortunately, this is the state of our societal norms. Even in the midst of these situations, there are plenty of blended families that thrive. Any other good suggestions for a blended step family, DY or Auntie Rose?
There's so many different things, and I just, what, I have to go on my own experiences growing up, being in a group home. And they wanted to promote it as if we were a family. And in a lot of sense we were, but it was different nationalities of kids that, and they all brought to the table what they've been through, their cultures, the food, anything that they used to doing in their lives, they brought it to the table. We all did. And then we had the teachers and the instructors and the people that were over us, giving us like one set of how things are supposed to go. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it did kind of, hurt certain people's feelings when your culture is different, so that to me was it's a different type of blended family, because that's what I experienced.
Okay. DY, can you pull up Sister Auntie Paige's comment where she said it looked like it said the ex-spouses to spend as little time as possible? Yes. I know if we read it like that, the way I read it when I looked at it, because it says there should be contact between the ex-spouses happens only at specified times. The way I looked at that is sometimes when the family is trying to gel together, you have this ex-spouse just coming at all times and disrupting the family bonding time, and that's the way I looked at that. Sometimes the child can't bond to the new parent or listen to the new parent because the ex-parent or the ex-spouse is interfering in the relationship and not giving time to bond. And that's the way I viewed that. Now, but thank you for pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? But that was the way that I viewed that. Otherwise, I would not have included that. Okay, go ahead, DY.
Absolutely. And also, I'll go ahead and say that the thing about it, the key word here is time. You can't rush these things. You take time. When you have children, you take time with those kids. You explain to them, yes, this is going to be something new. It's going to be an adventure. We're gonna learn and figure all this out together.
Yes.
You let them know this because they're part of the family too.
Yes.
And you want to make sure that they go into it with with a good vibe. You just don't smash them together and you have like one of those moments where now the kids are at odds with each other, or they're at odds with like one of the parents or something like that. Give them some time to bond. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, give them some time. And you see, Auntie Paige, she came in and she said, "Thank God it's not etched in stone, because I believe the child should still see their parents together in spite of this situation." And that is absolutely true.
I agree.
Even in situations where they're not together, they should still at least be cordial, because you're there for the child. You're not there for yourself. You can put your petty differences aside, and you guys have children to raise together. Think about them. That should be priority one. Priority one in the blended family. We also have Darren coming in. He says, "I think that the children should be able to see their parents, that their parents are still respectful, even though the situation has changed." You know what? You're absolutely true. That mirrors exactly what I said. Thank you for that, Darren.
Yes.
But yeah, you should definitely set an example. Give that positive vibe. They should never see even if you have those ill will thoughts, they shouldn't know that. They shouldn't hear you talk about, your ex or something like that. Well, this is your new mom because your old mom, she was da 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 da. So, this is going to be your new mom. No, no, that's
And
not the way.
what's so funny about that? Because I was I experienced a divorce when I was young, and I never badmouthed the children's father or talked down about him to them, because the bottom line is it's just this. They have just as much right to love and respect him as they do me.
Yes.
And they came from both of us. Both of us.
Absolutely,
Yes.
It is all about
the children. Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Blended
And you know
family
what?
or not. Oh, go ahead.
You know
Auntie
what? Yeah, Auntie Genoa, you know what? You set an example. And, those examples, I'm afraid is far and few between, and especially in today's society where, people pretty much say whatever, and it's not. But then, there's good and there's the bad. And I'm here to point that out.
Okay.
Yes, she definitely is. And right before you do, let's go ahead and see what Auntie Paige says. She says she understands limited access if you have a rogue ex-spouse.
Then the boundaries need to be tight. Yep, they sure do.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Because the thing about it is the ex-spouse, especially depending on who that ex-spouse was, it could be the problem. That can be the issue.
That's why
It can be the one. It can be the one.
She said that's why they're the ex.
Exactly. That is why they're the ex. Because
that's why they're the ex.
Exactly. Excommunicado.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go talk about some of that that other side of the track type stuff, because we got some really good info coming up in our next segment. It's called Roses Go. Check it out.
All right, now this is Roses Goals. I'm gonna give you some nuggets right now. I believe that sometimes there has to be boundaries, and sometimes because we come with no manual of either blended families or just families. I mean, they all families, but we just come with nothing, and we just have to go on what we've experienced in our lives and what we've been raised with, what we've been taught with. Like last week with the grandmothers, what that brought that the jewel, the nuggets into our lives to expand into our children, to pour into them. And my experience, is being in a foster home. I it was a blended situation, and there were kids my age, and there were kids and older. And first of all, when a child comes into a foster home, you don't know what to expect. And you've already lost the parents or whoever. In my case, it was because my parents were gone, and so I still had to be parented. I still had to be taken care of. So me and my other siblings, and it was not easy, because a child knows when one person is being treated better than the other. A child can feel that. You don't have to say it out loud, but you know it. You notice this. I noticed a lot of different things, but I just never said anything, because in my mind, I realized that it was not the child's fault. But sometimes the children, not knowing where to put it, and I mean not knowing how to think it through, will take it out on the parents, whoever, the other siblings or the other foster children or the stepchildren, they would take it out on, and then there's fights and different things, and it can be terrible, especially for the children, especially when it hears things, because that sinks in, and it's a long time before you can just clear that, before you out, when you grow up, and then you got to let that bad stuff go. Okay, go ahead, DY.
What do you mean why I got the camera in your face? Why do my son keep coming to me telling me that you treating him different than the rest of the kids?
Because he is different than the rest of the kids. He's
How?
not my son.
Because he's not your son,
No,
but he's my son.
Right.
So you should be treating him like your son too.
No, he's not my son. He does not belong to me. It's your responsibility to take care of your son. I don't expect for when my kid, there's nobody taking care of my kids other than me. Talking about, they're your kids. So yes, you take care of our kids together, and you take care of your son.
But you don't take care of my son. You don't treat my son like he family, like he part of our family.
He be here. I mean, he don't go without.
He be here. He live here. He go with his mother occasionally. What are you talking about?
Okay, but he's also not my son. Like, what do you want me to do? That's not my child. You want me to sit around and treat him the exact same as I treat my children? He's not my child. He's gonna feel different.
No, he shouldn't feel different.
I'm not his mother.
He should feel at home when he comes.
Yeah, wow. Thank you. Yeah. So, I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to say. I mean, I know what to say, but it's a hurtful thing if that child is in the background listening to this woman say he's not mine and I don't need to take care of him. He's a child. He needs to be taken care of. When you can't do for yourself, you need that parent, and you need both. And she didn't get something that she did not get in order to say something like that to the person that she's with. That's your child. That's your problem. I take care of my kids. What type of household is that? For the children. If this is for the children, then all children in the home needs to be felt and feel like they're a part of the family. And this boy came to his dad and said that she treats me different, and she, and she's not, the other kids get things and I don't. He's gonna grow up to resent. And then he can resent her, and then other women. It can go it can go real bad for a long time for this kid. And then for the other kids that don't go through it, that she's taking care of them, they know, because I knew when someone was treated better than me. So something's got to be done about that. That's why we do the Auntie Show. That's why we did the segments on the grandmothers, because this woman apparently needs to be poured into. She needs to be loved herself, because anytime that you don't want to love a child that's a part of your family, or don't want to treat that child like this child is not a part of your family, something's wrong. And I feel like this is not going to last. It's not going to last, because you cannot be in a household of family and then you over here and the other one over there, especially a child. I know what it's like. You got to grow up and try to get rid of all of the negativity and the world is already stepping on you, on your back. Then you got what this woman has poured into this child. He feels bad. He feels neglected. He's hurt. I know what that's like. So the reason why I picked that is because my experiences, I've had experiences like that, where you hear, and then people laugh it off, but it's not funny when a child feels like they're not a part. I always felt that way, and I even sat on the edge. I've always sat on the edge growing up. And when I said on the edge of the couch, the edge of the chair, the edge of the stool, because thinking a bar stool, thinking that it's going to be time to go in any minute. Wow. And I cannot sit back and be comfortable. And I brought that same energy, that same thinking, into my adult life, until I had to learn no, I can sit back. I'm okay. I'm safe. That's what we're doing to our children when we say things like that in front of them. We don't want them. You with this man, he had a child. You knew that. So that means you need to honor his child like he is honoring your children. And because otherwise it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. And don't I know it?
It absolutely will. I mean, because the thing about it is, it shouldn't, no matter what the dynamic is, you willingly know that this person treats your children the exact same as they treat theirs, but you treat my kid different? No, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. Also, we have a couple things. Auntie Pay said, a single parent and their children are a unit. Take them all and treat them right, or just leave them alone.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Amen
Absolutely.
to that.
Yes, every woman I've ever dated that had children, the first thing they always say is what? We're a package deal.
Right. Right.
Right. Yeah, they say that we are a package deal. Yes, absolutely. But so Auntie Pay says, right, it's not the child's fault. They're in a tiny little body with limited experience trying to process huge emotional processes. They deserve a lot of grace.
Yes.
They absolutely do deserve it all. And Auntie Page also says that the people in the video are also boyfriend and girlfriend and married. So the commitment level is different. Yes, I do believe that. But the thing about it is, if you're boyfriend and girlfriend, you're dating. When you're dating, you're finding out how these people are, how this person is, how this person acts. You know, it's a preview. It's a preview of what's to come. So if she's treating my child like this now, what makes you think that's going to change once I'm like locked into a marriage with this person?
But DY, well, I was watching the video, and he said one thing. I think you guys missed it. She said they have. He came in the relationship with his child, but they have a child or children together.
They do.
Yes.
And so if he came in the relationship with the child and you came in the relationship with the child, and then both of you had a child, I don't see what the problem is. Something is right. Her brain is scrambled, because if he treated her child that she came in with like she was treating his child that he came in with, and this obviously she wasn't doing that before they had their mutual child. Mm-hmm. That's why he's like, what you mean? He lived here. You know what I'm saying? She obviously baited the hook and waited till she got him, and then all of a sudden now this child's life is a hell on wheels. That's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. And it's
we didn't watch the whole thing because it was kind of long, but I did watch a part where in the end, and I have to commend him for this, in the end he was like, you know what, if you cannot treat my child right, if you can't do right by my child, then I'm gonna have to leave. And then she was like, well, you need to make sure he does what he needs to do.
What's that mean?
That means, because she called him bad, and she said he does bad things, and
if you don't like him, everything he do is bad. You don't like him, everything he do is bad. He can't please you if you don't like him.
But he said, I'm gonna leave, and and I have to agree with that. First of all, why are you treating him like that? The boy is obviously hurt. And now, he's got to go to his father with that. What does that take for a child to have to go and explain they're not treating me right? Mm-hmm. What the nights that he's probably was up thinking about that, or what he was going through in order to say something like that. And that's good that he was able to say that to his father. Just what about the ones that can't say anything because they're so wrapped up in the other person that the child gets lost in translation,
Yes.
So Yeah, it's
right, absolutely. And
my heart breaks for that.
then Auntie Paige says, "Good for him protecting his child." Yes,
Yes.
Amen.
stand up for your children. Stand up
Yes.
for your children, because trust me, the world ain't gonna. Yes,
No,
protect
they're
them
not.
at all costs. But with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead. I got me a makeshift make-believe commemorative coin, and I'm about to flip it to the other side. What happens if, in a situation, said child went to this woman and said, "Well, you're not my mama. I don't have to listen to you."
Mhm.
Now, what is
Mhm.
she supposed to do? How is she supposed to feel? How is she supposed to handle that?
Mhm.
Those are
Well,
all. That's a good question.
You flip that coin real quick.
you did, but it was in that video too. She said that. I mean, so it was obviously real long, but she said he don't listen to me. He's bad, and you just have to co-parent. Kids, just because she doesn't want to deal with him, I don't know what's all bad for a kid unless he's burning down the house. I don't know what so bad that he's doing things so bad, but she said that, and then it's up to him as the parent of as the biological father to talk that out, and say, hey, you have to respect, I'm with so and so, and we're a family, and and I need to respect what she says and different things, but also this grown-up adult, she has to come aboard and be the first one
Exactly.
passing the olive branch. You have
Exactly.
to.
As the adult, she should be the one to not want to engage in that. Want to be even if this kid was saying, "Well, you're not my mama," you know what? Okay, as as a unit, we're all gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about this.
Yes.
As a unit, I'm not gonna pop
test
off at you. Oh yeah, because kids test everything. Kids test their biological parents. So if you're a newbie, oh yeah, they're gonna test you to the limits. Just like that song that was in that movie Scarface. Take it to the limit. They are gonna test you. Yes. Also, we got another one from Auntie Paige. She says, "Do you all think there is hope for the couples and others like them?" You know what? Good question. I think there's hope if they heal their wounds.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And then and also they need to vet each other before they jump in the relationship to see if they're really a match. Sometimes people come together because they're lonely and they don't want to be by themselves and they want to build something, but they don't stop to see if this person is a match or to be building something with. Sometimes they just grab the first person they see, like, oh yeah, you cute and all this other stuff, and they just think we're compatible doing certain things, so let's make a family, and it don't work like that.
No,
but you know what? That comes from not having the extended family.
Yeah, you know what, D.Y.?
That comes from not having an extended family to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up, that it was hope. And I'm glad that Auntie Paige posed that question. But, I immediately thought, for this particular couple, I don't think so. There's always hope in any situation. You can turn things around. But, just like I think it was Auntie Genoa said, oh no, DY, healing the wounds. That makes, we do have to heal ourselves, we do. And in order to, for her to just, literally like spit at that child and spew bad things, where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna end up? I know how that is, but I'm just saying, I'm glad you said that, because it made me feel a lot better that it is hope. It is always hope. And you know what? Reading this book for me You know, it opened my eyes to so much. I can't say enough about it. Opened my eyes to what we've been through and why we act the way we do. Is because I used to frown and toot my lips up to stuff like that when I saw, oh, here we go, look at us, this and that. But after reading this book, I understand why we're in the position that we're in, why we do what we do. And that's so important to know why. I didn't even know there was a why to know. But now I know why. Because we're deeply wounded. We're wounded deeply. Yes.
Yes. And the thing about it, and also Auntie Paige came in and said that the kid's processing emotions and acting out because he doesn't know what else to do.
That's true.
He doesn't.
But the adults should.
The adults are the ones that need to put their arms around him, embrace him, instead of pointing out small, subtle differences like, that's not my child, that's not my child. I can do the bare minimum for him. Well, he's not hungry, but I'm not going to show him all the love and support that he's needing right now because that's not my child. I feel like the only thing I'm obligated to do is make sure he doesn't pass out and like starve to death.
Oh, you said a word there. You said obligated. So that means that when she got with him, he was just an appendage. She wanted the guy, but she didn't want the child. And that child, when he came into that situation, because children still have all their intuition when they're small, so they see the stuff that as we get older, because we're so beat up by life that we miss. But the children, they're watching, and they see it.
You said it, Auntie Genoa, that she didn't want the child. Because the thing is, there are blended families that work out, and the reason why they work out is because when they get together, the woman is open arms with the baby or the child or the teenager or whoever, to the point where they're like, you know what, this is my baby. Yeah, I know I didn't give birth to them, but this is my baby. You know what I'm saying? And then they, and they're the ones that are always like, okay, like I'm gonna do this and that and the other for him or for her. You know, I'm gonna like have fun and everything and show them all the love that they want. So yes, it does happen that, you know, they do open their arms to them.
Yeah.
But some people don't. And just like what Auntie Paige just said, when everyone's wounded, it makes for a very toxic environment. That is so true. The toxicity, it flows from inward outward.
Yeah.
And it covers everything. And it just makes the whole environment toxic.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And just like another thing that Auntie Paige just said is right. This is why I said take them all and take great care of them or leave them alone.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I agree with that, because I'm like, how can you knowingly go into a relationship you already don't like the kid, you know? You already don't. So how are you living comfortable? You know, because that kid, he said it, my child is not going nowhere. He lives here. And how can you separate that? I don't even, you know, how can you live in this family and separate this child? I don't even see how you and be comfortable.
Societal norms, Auntie Rose. Societal norms. There are so many relationships where the person, but when they get with somebody, that even if they have obligations, it don't even have to be children. They could be elderly parents or something, and they want the person, and they try to figure out all they can do to separate the person they want from all their obligations, causing all kinds of chaos and everything. It happens in a lot of families that's blended. It's a societal norms. The videos they make is about this type of stuff. The movies that we see is about this type of stuff. You would think that nobody is doing anything good if you looked at everything that they put out here for eyeball consumption. That's what I'll call it.
You know what? And just like my grandma used to tell me, you know, there ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yes.
There is not, because this is not something that's new. This goes way, way back. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this. I'm about to take over Auntie Paige's spot and Paige's pen. Check this out, you guys. So, we're talking about this whole blended family thing. It's nothing new. This has been happening since the beginning of time. Something happens, someone dies off, you have to take care of whoever's kids. Let's talk about how wounded as Black Americans are. You talk about going back into slavery times when you have like whole families being sold off, whole families just being separated. I'm gonna take this mother and this child away from the father, and we're just gonna sell them off into some other plantation or something else. You get thrown into the pit, boom. And you know what? Now you're automatically just paired up. Here's your new mate. And your new mate has children. And there's nothing you can do about that. There was nothing at all you can do about that. So we had to cope with that even back then. Even how families were just separated, just taken away. With like no hope, no nothing. You cannot do anything about this at all. And there are also systems in place today that still divide families. Think about the prison pipeline. Think about how people get incarcerated. You now separate families. Think about not only that, think about how you get sent off to different countries to go fight in wars, and you separate the families. Yeah, think about things like that. Think about just people who are just out there in the streets, just caught up in the system, and these families get separated. So a lot of these families who have been separated from their core family dynamic, they're going to carry a lot of baggage. They're going to carry a lot of weight. They're going to carry a lot of hurt. And a lot of this is things that are in our DNA. It's things that we've been carrying for the past 400 and some odd years, maybe longer. So these things they're deep. They're deeper than we could probably ever even fathom. The best thing to do is just to let go of the hurt and just basically just love each other. Love, if you get with someone and you have your family, you have their family, before you bring them together, go ahead and have that conversation. Have that talk. You know what I'm saying? Have that talk about, I want to bring these families together. Like, I want this to turn out good, like the Brady Bunch. Yes. I mean, because we can take care of each other. We're forced to take care of each other in slavery. Yes. There were times when even in families that were taken away. I mean, a lot of times it wasn't peaceful. It wasn't like, hey, sorry, you got traded to the other team. No, it was not like that. It was like, no, we're gonna beat you to death and we're gonna take you over here. You're gonna be there. So a lot of times we had to absorb that and we had to take care of them because we took care of each other. We all took care of each other, and we still can. So that's the whole thing about. That's what it's all about: taking care of one another. And there's nothing wrong with having a blended family. Just know that it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of understanding and compassion to make sure you can pull it off successfully. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that right now. Okay, any of you ladies want to chime in?
That was good. That was good. That was good. I love that. And and just to bring in that part, about that we're wounded, and we are wounded, and it's sad, but we can do something about it.
Yes.
Reading or listening to Audible, Healing the Wounds of American Slavery, and that's a start. It's a big start. It makes a difference.
Yes.
I promise you.
And so does our faith in the one that created us. The one that created us, our faith. And we need to get back to, we forgot how to take care of each other. We forgot. Because this society promotes selfishness. And the looking out for number one, us four and no more. But before all of that transpired, we took care of each other.
Yeah.
We stayed close around each other. Our extended families, cousins, aunts, uncles. We had your play relatives was just as real as the blood relatives. But we took care of each other. I mean, even in the 70s, I remember when somebody didn't have something, they had rent parties.
Yes.
They had rent parties.
Yes. I remember hearing about that.
That's all the stuff on the streets. My family living out on the street. Dragging from pillar to post. If somebody didn't have any food, you might not have much. I've divided what I had in my cabinet in half and given it. If we just got to get back to taking care of one another and our faith in God.
Yes,
exactly. And
so good.
Chimed in and said, but even in slavery, we took care of each other. One sister would raise another's child if that mother was sold off. Yes, we formed powerful connections just so we survived. We have to get back to that. We absolutely have to get back to that. You know how they say that it takes a village to raise a child? Yes, the village sometimes starts as close as a blended family. Absolutely. Yes.
And we were blended. We were blended in slavery. We were blended.
Yes, we're definitely blended. And you know what? We're still blended because we're all God's children.
Yes.
And you know what? I want to thank you ladies for an excellent show. Thank you for having me on as your host, coming in and taking over.
Of course.
And next week,
we enjoyed you, DY.
I enjoyed sitting in the front of the camera. I'm not just the guy in the back pushing buttons.
Keep it right there.
Yes, we're going to keep it right there. And also, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Also, I want to remind you guys to like this video, subscribe, go out, get this book. It is so wonderful.
Yes.
It's so great. You won't regret it. I'm DY, and I'm here with We Are Your Aunties. Thank you for joining us. Good night, everybody.